Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be talking about the March 2025 feature summary for Power BI Desktop. Now I was planning on doing one of these, but I actually had a few people reach out to me and were like, "Hey, I'd like there's a lot of people hyping up the March edition of Power BI Desktop. I'd really like to get your unbiased opinion." So I appreciate that that I can provide that to people. I'm just totally a mess right now. There we go. I got my little ring light I just turned on. So anyway, it's my lunch break, so I figured I'd just go ahead and knock this out real quick. Because like I first looked at this Power BI March feature 20 or summary, right? And I looked at this, and my first impression was just like, wow, like this is awesome, right? But then I had to temper that a little bit and realize that, well, the only reason I was thinking, wow, this is awesome, is because like I haven't seen anything like this in 2 years. Right? like like the releases have been so janky and crap, right? That I'm not used to seeing this much functionality, or at least we'll get into it, but what seems like a lot of functionality, keyword being seems. Okay. But like before Fabric was announced, right? This was normal. This would be a normal Power BI release. If you looked at this, you know, then you would just be like, oh, Microsoft's delivering again on another pretty typical, Power BI desktop release, right? That all went to hell in the last 2 years, right? Where it's just you get like, a line here and a line there on the different buckets of things. And but anyway, I digress. All right. So the startup performance, okay, so this is interesting to me. Because I don't start up Power BI desktop very much. Okay. I have multiple machines running. And at any one time I have probably 3 or 4 machines running, and they all have Power BI desktop open on them. Okay. And they have a Power BI desktop open on them for days at a time. Okay. Because I'm always in there constantly working, and I'll just lock my computer screen, but everything's running in the background, right? Now, what will be interesting is whether or not this fixes the number one bug that I have, where it causes Power BI to crash, right? So the number one problem I have, and this happens all the time. You have Power BI desktop running, and I'll go to bed and I'll wake up the next morning, and everything else is still running. Power BI overnight, for whatever reason, just like crashed, and not start it back up and then recover my files because I probably forgot to save something. It's a real pain. So that happens, right? And that happens pretty regularly, probably at least once a week, it seems like. But the other thing that most often, and this happens several times a week, is that when I'm in Power BI desktop and I go to open, so I have it open, it's been open a while. I've maybe got 2 or 3 different models open that I'm working with at a time. And I'll go to open a model, and it'll just sit there and spin, right? Just sits there and spins and spins. It doesn't matter how long you leave it spin, it just spins and spins and spins. And the only way to get out of it is to you shut down, save all your Power BI desktop files that you're working in, and then you go into Task Manager and you kill it, right? You'd have to kill the thing. And then, it's so stupid. You reopen Power BI desktop, you open that file, and it opens perfectly. It's the dumbest thing, right? So if this fixes that, then this will be a good thing, right? They're killing off the 32-bit vision. I still have, it's a weird in terms of the timing. Like you got May coming up here, which is, their big conference and their big announcements that they're going to make. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about this 32-bit vision and getting rid of it and the timing of it that it just makes me wonder, but I'm not going to get into all that stuff. Okay, so back to this list, okay? So at first glance, this list seems pretty impressive. But then you realize that, oh, it's preview. Oh, it's preview. It's preview. It's preview. 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 It's all preview, people. All of it. Like even this Copilot AI stuff right here. Guess what? Copilot AI in desktop is all preview. Okay, so there's like 3 different preview features you have to turn on. So this is all preview, in addition to all of this other stuff that's tagged as preview. Now this in the thing that you get, then that once you start really digging into these different items, it really becomes like all of these things that they're releasing are super niche. right? I mean, super niche. And they're like this, okay, this is only data annotations in Power BI for PowerPoint preview, right? And this copy report object name. And when you get into this, this is basically if you save your report in like your the new file formats where they kind of blow out, it's for GitHub and stuff like that. You'll get some GUIDs in there. So you don't know what that GUID refers to. So this allows you to right click and copy the GUID for like a visual so you know what it is. And so I can see how that's useful if you use that feature, which is also a preview feature. But anyway, so it's just like how many normal everyday Power BI users are going to use that feature? It's probably less than 1%. Um, Visual calculations preview, right? It doesn't. This is probably one of the ones that I would say is the enhanced reference line. This has potential. Like this could be used by any report person, in Power BI that's creating a report in Power BI. So this one I haven't played with it enough yet, but allows shading for reference lines and stuff, which could be useful. I have to dig into it and see if it really is going to be useful. Again, new card visual. That thing's been in preview for like 20 years. Introducing style presets. This one is crazy to me. And I feel bad because for all the theme generator people out there, because this just adds an entire other complexity level to everything. So my understanding of this, and I haven't had a chance to really play with this or figure out exactly what to do with this, but it allows you in a theme file to create different presets. So now in a theme file, it's not just one theme. It could be basically like 5 themes all rolled up into this one theme file, and it would allow you to switch between them, which I mean has a lot of potential. But like, I feel sorry for the theme generator people out there. Like, how in the hell are they going to roll this in to their theme generators to be able to like even because otherwise it's going to be a crap ton of work just to get this in there, right? Am I wrong on that? Like if you had to build one of these things by hand, my God, I mean, daunting, right? So again, kind of cool, but I am wow, who's really gonna use that, right? It'll be interesting to see. Insights category for business users in One Lake catalog. I don't even know what that means. But then you get this bunch of modeling stuff and create semantic models in direct lake storage mode. It's a preview feature, right? It doesn't say preview, but it definitely is. It shows up in the preview list. So I don't know how many, again, direct lake is such a niche kind of thing in terms of the problems it solves. I don't know how many people are going to be really using that. TMDL view support for direct lake semantic models preview. Updates semantic model version history. I really have to take a look at that and see what that is. But again, it's preview. Edit your data. I mean, like, what normal people that are using Power BI Desktop are going to care about that? And that's how most of these things are. When you really start digging into these, it's like, well, it's like that benefits like 0.5% of people, right, that use Power BI. So that's how I look at all of most of this stuff. Oh, yeah, I can migrate from Azure Analysis Services in Synapse to Fabric. Yeah, that's a feature that's like 2 years too late. This one is interesting. Table view improvements. So by using plural improvements, right? That would mean multiple things are better with table view, right? But it's really just seems to be one, right? I can right click and I can copy the value. Like I could always copy the table. Like I use this all the time because what I'll do when I'm writing my book, DAX for Humans, right? I will get my data model into Power BI and I can right click the table and I can paste it and say, hey, use an inner data query to do this, right? So I use that feature all the time. So I think there were always like 2 options, but anyway, they improved it, but it's only like one improvement, which it should be table view improvement then, not improvements. Sorry. Anyway, so I digress. Distribution, discovery, and consumption. This one's kind of funny to me because it's just a heading. So they're trying to make I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's like they're trying to make this look more impressive than it is, right? By including a heading. You can't make up comedy like this, right? CICD for OrgApps preview. Again, it's preview. Again, how many people are really building OrgApps out there? I don't think it's a huge number of people, right? So again, it's a fine list. Right? There's a lot there. Uh, I don't think it's super impressive or important. There's none of it that's really blows my socks off, right? I mean, the one that I think is again the reference lines, the shading of that, and then the style presets. Those are the two I would say most interesting things that are out there. But is this going to change my use of Power BI and in terms of and somehow improve my workflows or anything like that? I don't really see any of this doing any of that for me at all. Just in my normal day-to-day work. And I think that probably 80 to 90% of the Power BI users that are out there are also in that same boat. None of this does them any a damn bit of good. Right. So in that case, it kind of falls along the lines of the last 2 years of Power BI desktop releases since Fabric was announced, which is just a whole lot of nothing, right? But remains to be seen. I am going to be looking at the theme generators to see which of you theme generator authors out there gets this style presets into their theme generator tool first. Aaron, just think of that as a public challenge from me to you guys. All right, that is all I have for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.